Chosen one, sit down, because what is about to be said cannot be unsaid. What is about to be revealed will change the way you see everything. Your past, your pain, your purpose, your future. God said it is time. Time to stop giving you pieces. Time to stop letting you see partially. Time to pull back the curtain completely and tell you everything. Everything you wondered about, everything you questioned, everything that confused you, everything that hurt you without explanation, everything that happened and never made sense. It is all about to make sense right now. The first thing God needs you to know: nothing that happened to you was wasted. Not one moment, not one tear, not one season of pain, not one betrayal, not one closed door, not one prayer that felt like it hit the ceiling and fell back down. None of it was wasted. Every single thing you went through was being used, even when it felt purposeless, even when it felt like punishment, even when it felt like God had forgotten you completely. He was using it, building something from it that you are only now becoming ready to see. The pain was not random, it was preparation. The loss was not punishment, it was positioning. The delay was not rejection, it was protection. From things that looked good on the surface but would have cost you everything underneath. God was protecting your destiny by closing doors you were desperate to walk through. And you were angry about those closed doors. You were confused by them. You questioned God about them. But now you can see that every door He closed was keeping you on the path to the one He had already opened. The truth about the people who left: they were not supposed to stay, not because they were bad people, not because you were not enough, because they were not built for where you were going. God saw the destination He had for your life, and He saw clearly that certain people could not come with you. Not because He was being cruel, because He was being protective. Some people are assigned to a chapter, not the whole book. And the ones who left, the ones who walked away, the ones who betrayed you, the ones who chose someone or something else over you, were closing chapters that needed to be closed so the next one could begin. And the next chapter, the one you are stepping into now, cannot be entered with the wrong people beside you. It requires a different circle, a more aligned circle, a circle that can carry the weight of what is coming. And God has been building that circle while you were grieving the people who left. He was preparing the ones who are coming. And what is coming is worth every goodbye that broke your heart. The truth about why you were chosen: not because you were the strongest, not because you were the most talented, not because you had the cleanest history or the most impressive resume or the most put-together life. You were chosen because of your willingness to feel deeply in a world that numbs itself, your willingness to keep believing when belief felt foolish, your willingness to get back up after falls that should have kept you down, your willingness to love people who did not always love you back, your willingness to trust God with a life that sometimes felt like it was falling apart. That willingness, that stubborn refusal to fully give up, is what made you chosen. God does not choose the perfect, He chooses the willing. And you have been willing through every hard season, through every reason to quit, through every moment that tested whether you really believed what you said you believed. You stayed willing, and that is everything to God. The truth about the season you are in right now: it's the last one before the shift, the final chapter of the old season, the closing pages of what was before the opening of what is about to be. And last chapters are always the hardest, the most intense, the most confusing, because everything is being resolved at once. Old things are being closed, new things are being prepared, and in the middle of that transition, everything feels uncertain, unstable, like the ground is shifting beneath your feet, because it is, not to destroy you, to reposition you for what is coming next. The discomfort you are feeling right now is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something is changing. And what is changing is everything for the better, permanently. The truth about what the enemy tried to do. He studied you. He watched what you loved most, what you feared most, who you trusted most, and he built his strategy around those things. He used the people closest to you because he knew strangers could not wound you deeply enough. He used your own mind against you, planting thoughts that sounded like your voice but were never from you. Thoughts like, you are not good enough, you waited too long, you missed your chance, nobody is coming for you, God forgot about you. He planted those thoughts strategically at your most vulnerable moments, when you were tired, when you were alone, when the silence of heaven felt loudest. But here's what he never told you. He only attacks what threatens him. He only goes after assignments that are significant. He does not waste resources on irrelevant targets. The intensity of what he sent against you is direct evidence of the magnitude of what God planned for you. The bigger the attack, the bigger the assignment, and what was sent against you was significant, which means what God has planned for you is extraordinary. The truth about your prayers, every single one was heard. The ones prayed with faith, the ones prayed through tears, the ones prayed in anger, the ones that were barely words, just groaning, just desperation, just God, please. Every single one landed, not one fell to the ground unanswered. Some answers were yes, some were not yet, some were I have something better than what you asked for. But none were ignored, none were dismissed, none were forgotten. And the prayers you prayed years ago, the ones you stopped believing would ever be answered, God is answering those now, in this season, in ways that will remind you of exactly what you prayed and exactly when you prayed it. And you will marvel at how perfectly he timed the answer to the moment you needed it most. Not the moment you asked, the moment you needed. Because God does not just hear your prayers, he understands the need behind them and answers from that place. The truth about what is coming. It's bigger than you asked for, more specific than you imagined, more perfectly timed than anything you could have engineered. It involves people you have not yet met, doors you have not yet seen, resources you have not yet accessed, opportunities you have not yet been offered, levels you have not yet stood on. But God has seen all of it. He has been preparing all of it, and the release of all of it is tied to this season, this exact season you are standing in right now. The one that felt like the worst one is actually the gateway season, the season between everything you were and everything you are about to be. And what you are about to become is so far beyond what you currently see in the mirror that even you will not recognize yourself. The truth about your identity. You are not who they said you were. You are not the sum of your worst moments. You are not defined by your lowest seasons. You are not defined by the other people's fear or other people's jealousy or other people's need to keep you small. You are who God said you were before anyone else had an opinion, before the world tried to shape you into something more manageable,
before the pain tried to reduce you into a version of yourself that fit inside the box they built. You are chosen. You are covered. You are called. You are more powerful than you have allowed yourself to believe, more gifted than you have allowed yourself to express, more loved than you have allowed yourself to receive. And it's time to walk in that fully, without apology, without shrinking, without waiting for someone to give you permission. God already gave it before you were born. The truth about your future: it is good, undeniably, completely, irreversibly good. Not because life will be perfect, because God is in it. And God does not lead people into futures that destroy them. He leads them into futures that fulfill them, that expand them, that prove
what God wants you to stop doing immediately. Stop apologizing for your gift. The thing God placed inside you was never meant to be minimized, never meant to be hidden, never meant to be offered apologetically like it might be too much for people to handle. It might be too much for some people. That is not your problem. That is your confirmation. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is not coming, because perfection is not the requirement. Availability is, willingness is, faith is. God does not wait for perfect conditions to move. He moves through imperfect people, in imperfect seasons, with imperfect resources, and produces perfect results. Stop rehearsing the past. The old seasons are closed. The old wounds are being healed. The old version of your story no longer has authority over the new one. Every time you replay what they did, what you lost, what went wrong, you are giving yesterday power over tomorrow, and tomorrow is too important to be controlled by what is already over. Stop making yourself small for people who were never big enough to celebrate you anyway. Your size is not the problem, their capacity is, and you cannot shrink yourself into someone else's comfort without shrinking away from your own destiny. What God is about to prove through your life. He is about to prove that faithfulness gets rewarded, not immediately always, but always eventually. And the reward He is preparing for your faithfulness is not small. It is not subtle. It is not the kind of blessing people can explain away. It is the undeniable kind. The kind that silences rooms. The kind that makes enemies go quiet. The kind that makes people who doubted you rethink everything they thought they knew. He is about to prove that His word never returns void. Every promise He spoke over your life, every word He whispered in your quietest moments, every vision He placed in your heart is about to find its fulfillment in ways so precise, so specific, so perfectly aligned with what He originally said that you will stand in awe, not just gratitude, awe at how faithful He was through every season you doubted Him. Through every moment you wondered if He remembered. He was always faithful, and He is about to prove it, publicly, undeniably, through your life. He is about to prove that what the enemy meant for evil was always going to end in your favor. Every attack, every setback, every season of loss was being turned, even as it was happening, into something God would use for your elevation. And the full picture of that turning is about to become visible to you, to everyone watching, to everyone who ever doubted the God you serve. Final word. God said it is time to tell you everything, and here is everything. You were always chosen. The pain was always purposeful. The people who left were always temporary. The prayers were always heard. The enemy was always fighting a losing battle. The season you are in is always the last one before the shift.
and what is coming was always yours, written before you were born, protected through every storm, preserved through every attempt to stop it, and it is arriving now, in this season, for this version of you, the one who survived everything that was sent to stop you, the one who is finally ready to receive everything God prepared. Do not look back, do not slow down, do not shrink at the door of what you prayed for. Walk through it, fully, completely, without apology, because God said it is time, and when God says it is time, nothing in heaven or earth can say otherwise. In the comments write, "I receive everything God has for me," or the number 1111, or "It is my time and nothing can stop it." Subscribe and stay close. Chosen one, God said it is time to tell you everything, and now you know. Everything that happened was on purpose. Everything that hurt was preparation. Everything that tried to stop you failed, and everything God promised is still coming for you. Amen.